You've probably clicked on this video because every time you try to focus, you get distracted or you can't get any work done. And let me tell you this, I run a digital business while also pursuing a computer science degree and going to the gym 5 times a week. And sometimes I sit at my desk for hours and just disappear, finishing tasks for an entire week ahead. I don't check my phone, I'm not hungry, time disappears. And by the time I come up for air, I've done enough work in 4 hours that most people can't do in a full day. And it's not because I had a good day or I'm a motivated person. It's because there's a state you can enter, and I've learned how to enter that state every time I sit down. See, most people treat flow like it's a magical potion. Like if the stars align, like if your day is good, like if you had your coffee and good sleep. They have their laptop out, they put their playlist, and then they just sit there and they wait for it to come. But that's not how it works. And once you understand how it works, everything changes. See, the thing with flow is it's not a feeling. It's a neurological state, and it has very specific entry conditions. Conditions your environment either supports or destroys before you even start. And the reason most people never get there on a consistent basis is not because they lack discipline, but they haven't engineered the right systems to do so. I've felt this when I was building products for clients for my business. I've also felt this in the gym when you're just so locked in on a session, I just completely forget what rep I'm on. Just completely locked in, focused, and nothing can break that. And across all those situations, across all those contexts, the same 4 conditions always stayed true to allow me to get to that state. And I'm gonna walk you through all 4 of them in this video. The first condition is what I call the entry ritual. And I know it sounds pretty simple, but once you understand how it works, I promise you everything changes. Before I sit down for a deep work session, I empty my brain completely, which is either meditation or stretching. It's something small that takes about 10 to 5 minutes, but completely changes everything once you implement it. What it does is it tells your nervous system that a state change is coming. And the reason it works is because your brain is a pattern recognizing machine. Once you do the same things over and over again before a deep work session, your brain instantly knows that a deep work session is coming right after this, so it prepares your body to get into the state. Have you noticed how every pro athlete has a pre-game routine? It's the same thing when you put your headphones on, ready to go for a deadlift PR, and your body instantly knows we are hitting a PR today. You can do that same exact thing for deep work. And the good thing is it starts working much faster than you think. I started doing this consistently, I think about 6 months ago, and I think after 2 weeks, it started slowly becoming so much easier to get into a deep work session. It's like my brain instantly started knowing, hey, you're stretching, it's now time to focus. And as soon as I sat on the chair after 2 weeks, I'm laser focused, I'm gone, nothing can take me out of that state. But here's the thing, you can have a perfect ritual, but still every time you sit down, you're still getting nothing done. And I'll tell you the reason now. Condition number 2, the design of your environment. I want to be very specific when I talk about this because a lot of people think differently than what I'm specifically talking about. You see, flow state requires a zero friction environment. See, every decision you make at the start of a session, every tab you have to close, and every notification you have to turn off when you see, this is all a type of friction and it destroys flow state. Let me give you an example. Think about what happens when you're focused and then your phone buzzes and you glance at it for 2 seconds. You didn't just lose 2 seconds, you lost 15 to 20 minutes of state that you've been building up. Flow doesn't exist in a shallow state. It takes time to build, and every distraction brings it all the way back to zero. So I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek of my session. Every night before I sleep, I plan out my entire day to know exactly when are my focus blocks and what I'm gonna do. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is take my phone and put it in another room. And every tab I had from the day before are already closed, so once I open my computer, it's completely clean. I can do exactly what I was meant to do. My desk has only the things I need. My laptop, my candle, and a pair of headphones. You see, if your environment's cluttered and it's all over the place, it's impossible to focus because that clutter in front of you will end up being clutter in your mind. And the thing that people tend to overlook is every time you let something interrupt your session, you're training your brain that this is not a place to focus. So every time you try to focus, it's getting harder and harder to get into that flow state that you wanted to. You've basically trained your brain that, you know what, deep work isn't worth it. There's my phone right there. And so protecting your environment isn't just a productivity tip. It's literally how you teach your brain that this is where I enter flow state. And even if you have a perfect ritual and a perfect environment, there's still one thing that will stop flow from ever happening, and no one talks about this. Condition number 3, the difficulty sweet spot. Flow state will only emerge when you need it, when you're at the edge of your ability. It's exactly how your nervous system works, and it's exactly what will change the way you think about flow. And what I mean by that is if the task in front of you is too easy, your brain's gonna go to autopilot. It's gonna be like, this is too easy, I can do this anytime. So you start checking your phone, you go to get a snack, you go drink water, and you basically destroy any chance you had of focusing. On the other side, if a task is too hard for you to do right now, your brain will never enter flow either. You get that paralyzed feeling where you're kind of scared, you're getting up, you're coming back down, you just don't know what you're gonna do. So your brain ends up perceiving it as a threat and shuts it down completely. Now, to answer your question, the sweet spot is right between those two, where something isn't necessarily too hard for you to do, but also not too easy. It's right at the edge of your ability that you're excited to overcome it, but it's not too hard for you. And distraction becomes impossible because you filled up all your cognitive space on that task that you don't even remember to check your phone. I notice this usually when I'm building products for clients. Sometimes it's something new, something I haven't explored just yet, and while I'm learning it, I'm getting more into it. It's a little bit hard because I'm still figuring it all out, but as I go on, I just can't look anywhere else and I'm just like in another. So if you sit down and flow never comes, ask yourself this question: is this task too hard for me? And if it's just something you're doing every single day, then flow will never come. You're gonna go drink water, you're gonna get distracted, you're gonna do everything except the thing you're supposed to do. If you want flow, you need to be working on something that at least makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Something where you can actually fail if you don't try hard enough. That's the perfect sweet spot that you can enter to completely destroy any other reason not to enter flow state. A lot of people think discomfort is the enemy of flow, but the truth is, it's the door to enter flow. So now you have the ritual, environment, and the right kind of work. The last piece is the one most people skip, and it's the one that determines whether you stay in flow or you don't. Condition number 4, protecting the window. I'm not talking about the window of your house, I'm talking about the flow state window. Just in case you didn't quite catch the hint right there. Scientists say that flow state takes about 15 minutes of uninterrupted focus for it to start initiating. 15 minutes before your brain starts shifting into the deeper gear, which means any interruption in those first 15 minutes will completely destroy the session. Again, as we said, you're not losing the minute that you checked your phone, you're losing the entire 15 minutes that you've been building up. This is why protecting the window is not optional, it's not a nice to have, it's literally the thing that holds this all together. See, for me personally, I like to block my entire mornings. I have my phone off, so no calls, nothing to distract me, no messages, no quick favors, nothing. I wake up, I take a shower, I sit on this desk, 3 to 4 hours of deep work on the thing that's most important to me. See, when I'm running a business, going to school, and trying to go to the gym 5 times a week, those 3 to 4 hours of me getting work done, that 3 to 4 hour block is the most important thing that I did. It allowed me to stay ahead on every single task I had, whether that was business, school, or gym. Here's what people like to confuse about time blocking though. You see, the reason you time block isn't just because it's a productivity hack, but it's because you're training your brain to know that this is the time where I focus, and every time you go to focus, it gets easier and you go into a deeper state. The block is not just about the hours, it's about the identity you're building every time you honor it. So here's what it looks like when you put it all together. The night before, you put your stuff in a calendar, you put your tasks that you need to do, you block your 3 to 4 hours, whether that's morning, night, or afternoon, whatever works for you. And that way you've already decided everything that you were going to do right before you sleep. You just have to make sure your environment is zero friction, it's not cluttered, it's clean, it's actually enjoyable to get to. Most people are waiting for the right mood, the right conditions, the right energy. But like we talked about, flow doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Flow follows simple conditions, and if you build those conditions, entering flow will be the easiest thing you've ever done. And since you know how important flow is, what I'm telling you is stop leaving it to guessing whether it works or it doesn't, and start forcing it to happen. Because it doesn't happen by accident, it happens with the conditions. Now, as usual, this channel is about building a life you actually respect.